Growing up, spur-of-the-moment family gatherings were some of my favorite childhood memories. The thick, summer air is palpable. Echoes of children giggling and playing in the distance reach the air, soothing your mind, and your shoulders slink down as all sense of stress and worry fade into nothingness. There is no distraction, no urgency, just an honest and accepting accompaniment by some of your favorite people in the world. Endearments are swapped by friends and family alike, and the atmosphere transforms more and more into one of constant comfortability. We all have those people in our lives whose presence brings up an entire group's spirits, resulting in jovial and lighthearted conversations. It's particular situations like this that we wish were able to be wrapped up nice and neat and placed on a shelf for eternity. This is exactly the same feeling I get from watching Barakamon. Released in one of anime's densest years, 2014, Barakamon broke the edgy, action-laden status quo of modern anime with a wholesome, endearing tale of a world-renowned calligrapher sent to rural Japan to do some soul-searching. Produced by the up-and-coming studio Kanema Citrus, who did things such as Tokyo Magnitude 8.0, Black Bullet, Barakamon has a unique charm that can only be explained by a first-hand experience. It works the senses and warms the heart more than any anime I can remember in recent memory, leaving the viewer with a completeness unrivaled in the medium. For someone who has been consistently disappointed by slice-of-life anime over the years, I was initially guarded in my openness to the series. However, throughout this video, I hope to explain why I think Barakamon is one of the greatest anime of all time. Barakamon at its core is a story of self-reflection and redemption. Seishu Honda is an accomplished professional calligrapher whose robotic method of artwork was both revered and criticized, depending on the individual. He always strives for perfection, but as a result is very self-deprecating and has a rather low sense of confidence. One instance of this criticism occurred on perhaps calligraphy's biggest stage, the Ica Prize Award reception. After receiving an insult from the director himself over the lack of originality in his work, Seishu reactively hurls his fist at him, resulting in public shame and discredibility. Not cool, man. In an effort to cool down, Seishu relocates to rural Gato where he meets the village scamp Naru and learns the true meaning of happiness, while discovering his instinctual nature as a calligrapher. There aren't any shocking or overly intellectual moments in Barakamon. Seishu doesn't transform into an unrecognizable version of his former self by the end of the anime, nor do the writers subvert their own formula by erratically dousing the viewers with fanservice. Barakamon tells us its story simply through atmosphere and character interaction. Its beauty in simplicity. There aren't any convenient narrations or expositions of emotional text from characters to describe their feelings for a given scene. It allows us as viewers to take a step back and observe, rather than always trying to stay one step ahead of the story. Thematically speaking, everything is brought up very subtly. The anime has little to actually do with calligraphy, but uses it as a vessel to help explain the magnitude of emotional growth Seishu experiences throughout the series. Whether it's a fishing competition, hospital visit, or just lounging around with some of your favorite people, Barakamon shows us joy in the simple things. Sometimes taking the time to relax and enjoy the company of others can really put the best of the world into perspective. Much like the subtlety of the show's themes, the comedy sneaks up on you. It upholds some sense of purity in its presentation. There are no over-the-top gags here, no indecipherable cultural references, and the slapstick comedy is realistic as opposed to exaggeratory. Well, that's sans the ridiculously drawn Naru faces. My favorite moments were the mortified reactions by Seishu when a various member of the cast would do something way out of the ordinary. He was often left confused or awestruck with the more commonplace actions from the locals. The result is that Barakamon helps us bridge the gap between a city-minded viewer and a country-minded one by slapping the two cultural opposites together into one package. Subsequently, this adds relatability to its repertoire, something that a slice of life thrives on. The charming humor places the viewer right in the center of the story, as an observant fly on the wall. As someone who grew up in a semi-urban area, I can relate on a certain level to the foreignness that Seishu experiences when first arriving in Gato. He's an introvert, relying on his narrowed skill to speak for him rather than actually doing it himself. Everything is upended when he's ripped out of his shell and planted into a rural setting, where conversing socially is a regularity. His interaction with the cast throughout the rest of the series is a beaming indicator of his true personality. Seishu is quite actually immature, making his conversations with Naru and his younger friends seem natural. Naru helps him emerge from his closed-off nature by placing him in some rather precarious scenarios along the way, much to Seishu's immediate objections. Each heartwarming scene that passes only strengthens the sense of relatability in our protagonist. Naru, on the other hand, is quite possibly the glue that holds the entire show together. Her mannerisms, disposition, and interactions with Seishu and the rest of the cast radiate with innocence and likability. The best part? She's voiced by an actual child. Kanema Citrus really did their homework when it came to assembling the seiyus for Barakamon. Not only does the high-pitched, airy voice add to the realism, it also sounds more soothing to the ear, instead of a forced inflection put on by an adult. Naru and the rest of the cast of kids act their age in this anime, instead of presenting the facade of a 13-year-old mature enough to rule the world as in most anime out there today. They easily cry when upset, they find joy and contentment in some of the most trivial activities. Their personalities were extraordinarily refreshing to see, adding some legitimacy along the way. One aspect of the cast that one might find less than stellar is the character development. There really aren't any defining examples of it anywhere outside of Seishu himself. Despite this drawback, I can't really say that it actually deterred from the anime in any way. While the animators won't win any awards for outstanding achievement in art, I can say that the style fit Barakamon quite well. Flourishes of bright hues calm the viewers into an almost lucid, dreamlike state. Colors are slightly washed out, leaving the characters and their interactions to become the focal point of the anime. Some of the more comedic scenes involving various roulette of character faces were downright hilarious, and I give full marks for creativity in that department. The character models are attractive, and the children are cute, with their oversized heads and their lanky appendages. From a sound perspective, I have little to no complaints. The opening, or Shisa, is lively, and it works to tell us a story of its own, showing the pesky Naru infiltrating Seishu's house and causing her usually adorable mischief. If you ever get a chance to download the full version of this song, it includes the infamous scene of the Gato villagers calling Seishu after he makes his way back to the city. Let's just say it made a few tears well up in my eyes. The ending is equally as fitting and offers a fluid wrap-up of each of Barakamon's 12 episodes. When present, the background themes are jolly and catchy, sprucing up the accompanied scene. This is one of the few anime I actually downloaded the OST for, though whether for nostalgia or quality reasons, I'm really not sure. Lastly is the outstanding performance of Barakamon's cast of voice actors. Suzuko Hara is unequivocally charming as Naru, and her performance should serve as a beacon for other producers to show when casting child roles in anime. The same could be said for Rina Endo, as she's enjoyed continued fitting roles like the lovable Samugi from Amama to Inazuma. Enjoyment, as subjective as it may be, is the one factor that keeps anime fans coming back for more. This is the primary reason why I weighted heavier than any other category when scoring a review. Barakamon was chock full of endearing moments, and it had one of the most lighthearted, engrossing atmospheres I've ever experienced in an anime. It just hit home for me on so many levels. Couple this with the well-crafted cast and corresponding soundtrack, and this anime becomes an instant classic. I think many viewers or critics come into Barakamon with preconceived notions of what it should be, and many come out unfulfilled. This anime doesn't do much, but what it does do is done so subtly, yet brilliantly, that it's hard to put into words. I recommend this series to fans of anime like Usagi Drop, the aforementioned Amama to Inazuma, or those who want an engrossing, feel-good show without high stakes, over-sexualized characters, or overthought plotlines. 2 years later, the prequel to Barakamon, Honda-kun, was released, and to significantly less fanfare. It wasn't even produced by the same studio who did the former anime, and that should tell you just about all you need to know about what kind of effort they put behind it. Let's just agree that Dio Media doesn't exactly have the best resume when it comes to critically acclaimed anime. Let's just stick to Barakamon, shall we? I wanted to thank you all for watching the video today, and if you like what you saw, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell for notifications, and please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of Barakamon. Was it a good anime? Was it a bad anime? Did you feel different about it? I want to hear it below. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you next time.